It seems like there is some uneasiness with the major motor brands when it comes to the arms race for power. But it's not always been like this. It feels like we were satisfied with what we had until recently. Or maybe not. People have always been after lighter weight e-mountain bikes, but now that has switched to power. But when it comes to how fast you actually climb up a hill on an e-mountain bike, has it got more to do with the rider weight than not the bike? Let's try and find out. So today I'm going to be doing an experiment with a willing volunteer. We have James from GMBN, the in-house cross-country specialist, former elite cross-country racer. So, what is your current weight, James?
Give or take about 63 kilograms, I reckon.
Pretty svelte.
Yeah.
I'm weighing in at 77 kilograms, so a bit of a difference. We are going to ride this hill climb back to back, first on full power, then we'll change it up to see just how much difference the weight makes.
Sweet.
The climb we're going to be riding is 966 meters long with an ascent of 160 meters, max gradient of 34% with an average of 19%, so it's pretty punchy to be fair. And we're going to be taking it in turns to ride my white Kado. So this bike has the Bosch CX full power motor, 100 Newton meters of torque, 750 watts of peak power. And obviously you'll be recording the times on my Garmin Edge emtb with heart rate as well. And I've got the Garmin Rally power pedals on there. So we can record exactly the physical power going into the bike from both me and James to compare that as well. Could be quite interesting. We're going to ride it in full boost. It'll all be below the speed limit of the bike, so it's all going to be down to how much effort we're putting in and also the mass of the rider as well. Okay, run one to the top in full power mode. Let's get ready. Go. All right, pretty full on that. I was going as hard as I could. 3 minutes 43 with an average power of 256 watts, max of 527. It's not bad for me. Average heart rate of 154, max of 163. So decent average. Could have gone a bit harder probably, but it's hard. And yeah, I was sat at my physical limit and the bike was dragging me up the hill. So I think James's physical limit is a lot higher than mine, but let's see what difference that makes, and then we'll try another experiment as well. Can't even get flipped in.
Wasn't easy. See how I got on compared to Neil, but definitely went really hard up there.
Right, so I did the hill climb in 3 minutes 43, but look at James, he did it in 3 minutes and 7 seconds with a max power of 648 watts, an average of 320. Them young whippersnappers. How was that, James?
Yeah, pretty full on to be fair. I definitely thought it'd be a bit easier, but by the top I was blowing quite hard.
Were you taking a look at your power numbers and stuff like that?
I was a bit, but like on this route you had to concentrate a little bit as well. I'd have a glance down. I got halfway up and saw I'd done about 400 watts. That's when I knew I needed to go a bit easier. Okay, so the results tell us your average power was higher than mine, so you worked harder, you put more power in. I mean, I worked hard, but you have more power to give, should we say? Yeah.
And you were faster, so it doesn't really give us the results we need.
No.
So we're going to try and now do a control run where we ride up and try and stay at an average power of, let's say, 180, so I can do that comfortably. I know you can go higher than that, but that sounds good to me. So we'll both ride at 180 watts and see what results that gives us. Now, let's get into these results I think are very interesting. James, you managed to average 178 watts.
Yeah.
Good job, almost there. You did it in 3 minutes 39, which is actually faster than my first run with all my watts.
Very interesting, isn't it?
And you've used 70 watts less on average than I did, and you're still a lot faster.
Yeah.
So then my control run, I managed 176 watts average, so I was a little bit off, but near enough, but I did it in 4 minutes 19. My average heart rate was 139, yours is 127. So, you know, a watt is a watt, it doesn't matter who's putting it out, but I'm working harder to do those watts. So you were 40 seconds faster over 4 minutes.
For the same effort.
Exactly. So it's 4 minutes 19 I did it in. And I'm 15 kilograms heavier, 22% heavier, and that makes me 16% slower up that climb. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think it'd be quite that much for the same power output. 180 watts is 180 watts, I would have thought, but...
I was convinced it was going to be quite close. I was looking at the watts to try and keep it as accurate as I could and aim for that 178 average. So let's recap. If myself and James ride with almost exactly the same effort on the same bike, my physical weight penalty of 14 kilograms makes me quite a bit slower uphill. And conversely, James as a lighter rider could potentially bump the power mode down, still use the same amount of physical effort, get to the top near the same time as me, but use less battery doing it. Times that by 10 over a longer ride, and you can see the difference in battery usage adding up. Add his superior fitness to the mix, and I guess he's racing ahead. It also supports the argument that weight is more important than power. Let's dig into the power to weight ratio, something that cross-country racers and roadies are particularly interested in. It is known that a watts per kilogram measurement of 6 held for an hour is pro-level road fitness. That power to weight ratio is important in hilly terrain like today's test and for most normally mountain bike rides that I go on. But absolute power becomes more important on flatter rides. Let's dig into mine and James's power to weight ratios on the control test. James plus the e-bike weighs in at 87 kilograms. He was putting in 178 watts, and let's say the bike is given 250 watts. It's hard to know exactly, but that is the nominal power of the Bosch motor. Yes, you can get up to 750 watts peak power, but 250 is the continuous power output in standard conditions and probably likely on this steady gradient. That gives James and bike the power to weight ratio of 4.9 watts per kilogram. Not bad. Now look at me, 176 watts plus 250 divided by the 101 kilograms of me and the bike, and that gives me 4.2 watts per kilogram. Which explains why I'm still slower even at the same power. I would need to put in an extra 68 watts to keep up with James, and I'm not sure I have them, or find the power elsewhere. So James, in cross-country racing, in that world, the watts per kilogram is quite an important measure, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of the gold standard for measuring how fit you are, really, especially on hillier courses and stuff. Higher watts per kilo means better race results most of the time.
Yeah. And we've sort of seen that, you know, now we're talking about the total package weight, bike and body, and it's still fairly significant when it comes to how fast you can climb an e-bike as well, which is kind of surprising for me, I've got to say, like quite big results there.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for watching. Get involved in the comments down below if you think it's an important thing. I know it's like not everyone measures or records their times uphill, but if you're as surprised as I am, then get involved in the comments down below.
Cheers for watching.